Hi, I'm Heather from booktubes, and today is the second episode of Do or Die in 2025, where I take books that have been on my radar for forever, have gone on and off my TBR without me ever having started them, and I start them. I pick them up. A DNF is a perfectly fine outcome, not for this episode, but it's a perfectly fine outcome. I just gotta know. I just gotta know if it's for me or not. I cannot keep on being like, oh, maybe. This is probably the episode for the entire year that I am the most excited about, and I am going to be starting the book soon, so I wanted to make sure that I filmed my initial excitement about this book before I started it at all, and this is The City of Brass, which is the Daevabad trilogy, #1 by S.A. Chakraborty. This is supposed to be my new Mask of Mirrors. This is supposed to be my next Mask of Mirrors. It's supposed to be my next all-time favorite political fantasy trilogy. It is the #1 book that has been recommended to me because of my love for the Queen's Thief series and the Brook and the Rose trilogy and just political fantasy like that. I have such high expectations for this book that truthfully, if it is not a 5-star, it's going to be a deep disappointment for me because I am fully expecting this to be a favorite of the year. I believe that this is the series for me. I believe that this is exactly what I like, and I have very high expectations. So I can tell you this will almost definitely not be a DNF, almost definitely, and it will for sure not be an early DNF. I'm going to be putting in the effort to read this book. I'm going to read enough to get hooked. This is one where I'm willing to go the extra mile for it. So the whole reason why I want to read this is because of it being recommended to me as a political fantasy for readers who have loved those other series. What is that about? I don't know. Let's find out. She doesn't believe in magic. She accidentally summons a Jinn warrior, and then they're going to have to team up to do who knows what. Like I actually said in the last episode, desert fantasy is not my #1 favorite for fantasy, but there's a bunch of them on this list, and that's probably why that they've gone on and off partially, but it doesn't matter. This is the one. I have every expectations of adoring this. Best case scenario for this vlog, I would read the entire trilogy and have a new favorite of the year. That would be like peak. I would be so happy, but the goal is to read this first book. Let us do a first sentence and try a chapter. First sentence, he was an easy mark. You get a solid 3 for that, which tells us absolutely nothing. Now I'm gonna read the first chapter and I'll check back. Okay, so I read the first chapter. She has some unknown origin. She has a knack for languages, and she also has a healing ability. She's able to sense what is wrong with people physically, even if she's not sure how to heal them. And she definitely accidentally gets a Jinn inside a girl that she thinks is already possessed by a Jinn in the first chapter. And she's also kind of a con woman / healer. I like the writing a lot though. Hello. So we're having a slight side tangent. We're going in a different direction. So I had planned on this being just The City of Brass, right? However, I finished a book that I need to talk about now. I need to not wait until the end of the month, a month from now, for my monthly wrap up to talk about this. And you, the audience of this vlog, have been volunteered, if you will, as tribute for this need to get this off my chest. Winter's Orbit always could have been on this video project list, right? It's gone on and off my TBR. I've known about it for at least a couple of years, if not longer. And it's currently on my TBR again. And this is a sci-fi political arranged male romance. And I actually vlogged it in this vlog here when I started it. I am emotionally invested in these characters. They are not okay. I still have so much of the book to go. They are floundering in depths beyond their control and not communicating well. And then I did a check-in, a little bit of a check-in at the 50% mark in this sci-fi tri-chapter video. I am currently 50% through Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. I need them to be okay, and they're not okay. So yesterday I read nothing because I was like, the emotional devastation is really getting to me. But I'm so invested in them. Like, I want to see the part where they're happy. And then today I finished it, and I had to wait to shower and wash my hair until after I finished this book because I was stress sweating so much. So I was like, I cannot get out of the shower and go straight back to sweating like this. So I wish I hadn't read this book, right? It's one of those books, I gave it 4 stars. The writing is excellent. It's a great book. Stressed me out from beginning to end. There are 32 chapters in this book, and 31 of them had me stressed. These two couldn't be happy if happiness hit them in the face with a shovel. It was awful. It was painful. I was so invested because the writing was good. This is my least favorite type of book where I should have DNF'd it. I should have never picked it up. Then I should have DNF'd it 75 different places. But because the writing was good and because I was invested in the characters and I was like, I've seen the suffering already. I want to see the happiness. And then you don't get happiness until the very last chapter, basically. It's not like completely true on the romance because fairly soon after the 50% mark, they do communicate finally that they are attracted to each other and into each other. And then they also are kind of on each other's teams, but they don't tell each other that they love each other until the end of the book. And there's a lot of politics hanging on their marriage, specifically the treaty between the Empire and the one guy's home planet. But not even just that, but the treaty for everyone in the Empire to stay safe hangs partially on their marriage. So that's a lot of pressure. And I will grant you, stifle some communication of your feelings, especially when you had no real choice on whether or not to go into the marriage in the first place. However, there's this major content warning that if I had known was in the book, I would not have read this book. I can tell you that. So there is a weapon, it is illegal, it is a war crime, it is not supposed to exist anymore, but it can mess with your memories. So you can go in and basically rewrite memories, and different people are more susceptible to it. It's very painful, it's very awful, but you can basically, have your memories rewritten based on the agenda of the people controlling the machine. Awful. As someone who memory, dementia, Alzheimer's, losing your mind, not being in control of your mind, all of that is like such a major trigger for me. I've mentioned many times that my grandmother had Alzheimer's, and that is a trigger for me. She had early onset Alzheimer's. However, I don't usually go too much more in detail with that, but from the time that I was 8 until the time that she died when I was about 14, they lived with us, and my sister and I were partial caretakers for my grandmother. She had lost her cognitive ability so much that she was not able to go to the bathroom on her own or things like that. So she could still physically walk to the bathroom, she could still physically go to the bathroom, but she wasn't aware enough to take care of it herself. Because we lived with her, saw her every single day, saw the frustration of her and the other adults around us, including her husband and children, because we were so involved in her care and because we were so young at the time, it's a trigger for everyone who has had to experience a loved one have dementia or Alzheimer's, I think. But because of that kind of unique combination, I do feel like being afraid of losing my memories or not being in control of my memories or my just not being in control of my mind is like a core part of who I am. It's a huge building block of my childhood. And so it is something that I will only ever read by accident. Anytime that I'm aware that it's in a book, I will avoid that book because it is very triggering for me. And I don't even use language like that a whole lot, but it very much is one for me. It is enough to ruin my day. I will say that is for sure. So that was in here, and I skimmed all of those scenes because it was pretty extensive and I was struggling through it. Again, I wanted to get to like the resolution and the happily ever after, and this was very far in the book. This is like 80% or so into the book. But it's one of the main characters that it's being done to, and it was difficult for me to read as was intended, but was extra difficult for me to read, so I was skimming all of that. And I just wish, and this is not like against anybody, but I wish people treated memory stuff as more of a content warning and were more ready to call it out as an issue of why you might need to avoid a book, because it is something that is fairly common. Many of us are going to have this as something that we want to avoid. And yeah, I wish it was listed as a content warning more. I really, really do. So that was very upsetting to me. Then there's also content warnings because the previous partner of the guy from the other planet that is in this political marriage for the treaty, the previous political marriage partner, the other royal, the other prince, the cousin of the other guy, he was abusive, and you have verbal, physical, sexual abuse in a marriage, and also isolation. And our character feels a lot of shame and is blaming himself for everything that happened to him. And I just think, especially with how prevalent it was in the book, that would be too much for a lot of people, because if that is something that you're trying to avoid, it's so present. And especially, I feel like the amount of shame and blaming themselves in isolation, and even when they could reach out, not really telling people what happened to them because they wanted to keep it all under wraps and undercover, and they didn't want anyone to find out about what happened to them. And I just feel like that could be a lot for anyone reading this book. All of that being said, the writing is great. The character work is great. The mystery and the political plot was a lot, very stressful, because they just don't have any agency. They're not in charge of anything. People are trying to frame them as a political patsy. They're trying to frame them for murder. They're trying to frame them for domestic abuse. They're trying to frame them for all sorts of stuff in order to cause a war. And I, again, don't like for my characters to not be in control of anything. I do not have fun in a plot where the powers that be and everything that is happening against the characters, and the characters don't have the power, the political pull, the strength, the resources to be able to combat it. That is not fun for me. Even when it ends in a happily ever after, even when everything does kind of work itself out at the very end, I don't have fun on that journey to get there at all. At all. So this is the type of book that is very good. I can understand why other people like it. It is getting a decently high rating from me because it is a good book. I wish I hadn't read it. I would never recommend it to people who have similar reading taste to me. I would never recommend it. I wish I hadn't read it. This is the exact type of reading experience that I dislike the most, because it's not bad, so you keep going. It's good writing, so you keep going. You care about the characters, so you keep going, and you kind of keep traumatizing yourself more. And for what? And for what, I ask you? So, I should have never read this, and once I did pick it up, I should have DNF'd it. Truth be told, I should have DNF'd it. And if I had known that the memory stuff was coming in the future, I definitely would have. If I had known for sure that our characters were not going to be happy until the final chapter, I would have DNF'd it. But alas, here I am. having read the whole book. Again, it's a good book. I understand why it's popular. I can even understand why in some ways people might have recommended it to me, but I also feel like that is a fundamental misunderstanding of what I like about politics and political intrigue and characters being in political intrigue, because this is the exact opposite of what I like. Okay, I like and these characters are smart, but again, they don't have resources, they don't have facts, and they are actively being targeted from multiple different sources. And like, that's not fun for me. I don't like seeing the master plan of the villains. I don't like it. It stresses me out. I grew up in such a high control environment that I do think that that is part of it. That's why I can't really read middle grade and stuff too, because the lack of agency, the lack of being in control of your own life, being at the mercy of teachers and parents and guardians and every single adult that you come in contact with, but just being at the mercy of everyone else, having to follow all these rules regardless of how you feel about them, stresses me out to the absolute max. I have lived it. I have lived it, and I don't enjoy reading about it in my hobby, in my feel-good time, in my escape from reality, in the thing that I'm literally trying to do to enjoy my life more, not less. I don't want to enjoy it less. I don't want to kind of be bummed out for the day because of the book. I want my day to be improved by the book. It's what I'm doing for fun, for funsies. And then love a consent king. Love a consent king. Love two consent kings. Two consent kings who cannot communicate that they're actually both really into each other and instead are giving off the vibes that they would rather die than touch each other, because they're actually just trying to be respectful of each other's personal space and think that the other one would not want to touch them. Killed me a little bit. I was like, can you just talk about whether or not it's okay to comfort each other with a hand touch, a pat on the back, a hug, all of these things? Like, can you talk about that? That would be great. But I understand why not. But seriously, I was just like, kill me now. You know what I'm saying? Again, good book. Not for me. It was not for me. And I wish I had let it die instead of do. I should not have did it. It should have died. But here we are. And now you know an entire spiel that wasn't even supposed to be in this vlog. If you were a fan of cucumber melon growing up, this scent is amazing. I'm loving this soap. Hello. So I may have accidentally sped up my read of City of Brass more than I had planned, making nachos. So I was just going to read one chapter, but chapter 2, things are happening and I'm like really in it now. I want to read it, and I think I'm on chapter 3 now. Like I said, I'd only planned on reading chapter 2. Get you away from the light. It's so good. It's so good right now. I'm like really hooked. It is in Egypt during Napoleon Wars, and the French are currently in control of Egypt. Our main character, I'm fascinated by her. I'm fascinated by her and the Jinns, even though he's not a Jinn, whatever. Interactions, I'm just right at the very beginning. They just met, they were attacked, and now they're away. And I fear I might be in it now. All right, if you watched all my videos and have been keeping up with my saga about the stickers I went to use for my March reading journal spread, they came, love them, everything's amazing, right? Except this is not what I wanted. It's what I ordered. It is my fault. I did not click the correct thing. But this is not what I wanted. I wanted the sticker sheets with more of the girls on them, because that's what I'm really into. So it's finally here. I'm excited about it. They're stunning. And I'm kind of really disappointed. And it's all my fault, which is the worst type of thing in the situation. It did come all the way from Germany, so that is the delay. But like, I don't have any issue with that. That's not the shop's fault or anything. So basically, nothing is the shop's fault. And here we are. Also, I did try the blackberry. It does taste like artificial blackberry. That's pretty much what it tastes like. So, you know, if you're into that. This is what we currently have for the March cover page. Let's finish this up. Here's what we're working with for the cover page. We used all that. And then here is where I'm at right now. This is what I have ended up with. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about the placement of everything. Like, I feel like over here is a bit bare, but I'm okay with it. I don't really want to mix more types of stickers in. There we go. Hi, I have a pre-order of a book. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Stunning. Stunning, honey. All right. This is a artist that I have followed on Twitter and Instagram for a while. He is from Brazil and he has this whole Taylor Swift universe of all the different albums and all the different looks. And he did this, the Knights of Tayrealm coloring book. And it came out today. I had pre-ordered it. Yeah. Also, hold on, because these different sections, quite cool, I have to say. These different sections are fully illustrated or fully colored illustrations for the separation, which arguably is going to make my coloring pages look worse in comparison. So cool. That is so cool. So I actually, while I do love coloring, I am not a colorer of people. I tend to avoid that. I basically just assume I'm going to look like a kindergartner coloring them in, you know, but decided to get over this. As a matter of fact, I have a ACOTAR coloring book that my sister got me that I've never used because I'm afraid to color the people. So we're going to break this in. That is just so pretty. But yeah, he does a lot of Taylor Swift inspired illustrations, but he also does like Disney film illustrations and things like that. So even if you're not a Taylor Swift fan, he is an incredible artist. But yeah, the crossover of Taylor Swift fandom is how I came to follow him. And so that's really cool. Have I been reading The City of Brass? Yes. Am I super far into it? No. I think I'm done with like chapter 6 or something. So I'm chipping away at it. Chipping away. She's not to the city of the Jinn yet. And we have met the prince. So like I thought she was going to have a romance with her Jinn, and maybe she is. Honestly, confusion. But the other point of view is this prince, and of course he doesn't have as much agency as I would like for him to see, so I'm a little nervous. I've gotten a little nervous, but we'll see. Chipping away at that. And then also I got more results. I had done a blood test and I had high cholesterol numbers and I had high liver numbers. I don't drink or anything, which obviously is often a exasperating issue for liver things. But I don't drink. I'm not saying that if you do drink, you deserve to have liver issues. But so I went last week and had an ultrasound on my liver, and then they called me yesterday and I have a fatty liver, which I do drink French vanilla creamer every day for like the last 15 years, something like that. And that is oil, if you don't know. It's like oil that's not that great for you. So I feel like that's one of the first things I need to kind of adjust, because the whole thing with fatty liver is you're supposed to adjust your diet. I don't want to, mind you, I don't want to. I don't want to. So, you know, between the high cholesterol, which I have a very extensive family history of heart disease, and the fatty liver, I'm only 34, so, you know, I can't just ignore it for the next few decades. I don't want to. I don't want to do a single solitary thing. I don't want to make any changes. I hate change. I wish those kids would stop screaming, but life goes on. We don't always get what we want. I am making corned beef roast today. It's that time of year. I am using butter. Butter makes things taste better. Okay. I will not be fixing my fatty liver right this second, apparently. Let me live. Let me at least use up the groceries I've already bought. But no, I will not be going extreme with it. I can tell you that. But I definitely do feel like I need to make some adjustments on the diet front, specifically just adding in more of the things that are good for that and taking out some of the things that are bad for that without, you know, demanding perfection or anything extreme. Hi, I saw Hannah Louise post and apply her green color corrector with a concealer brush, so I applied green color corrector with a concealer brush. And that, folks, is what we're here to try today. Okay, this is probably too much. Could be. Bum, 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 brand new. Not sure that that's super relevant, but true nonetheless. All right. Now, does Hannah Louise Poston take her time and really, you know, spend time brushing this on? Well, yes. Will I be doing that? I am not really a take your time kind of person. Not exactly my strength. I am a lot of a rusher. I like to get in, get out, get going. Yeah. Nonetheless, also I did have, like, my face is really red today for whatever reason, so that's fun. Do we think this made any difference? Time will tell. All right, it is the same day, and I have thoughts to talk to you about. One, I've been coloring a whole lot. My hand is all cramped up. I don't know why that is what I'm doing, but that's what I'm doing. And then secondly, I don't know about you, but I feel like I love reading vlogs, but only from people that I already know and like. I like watching vlogs from creators I'm already familiar with. I don't really like using vlogs to find new to me creators. And I am very curious on if that is like a common consensus or if that's just me being, I don't know, just my personal preference, and that's it. It's not even really a common thing. So very curious. You're obviously watching a vlog. So you're someone who watches vlogs, but I just want to know if you only watch them from creators that you really enjoy, or if you are constantly looking for new vloggers, if you will. I am looking for more people to watch. I just feel like I don't have as many YouTube videos to watch as I have time to watch YouTube videos, because I watch them most of the day while I'm doing other things. I don't know. Let me know if you have any favorite YouTubers or booktubers, because I need some more. All right, here's the deal, Leo. I have not been reading anything. I had a 1-star, a DNF, and then another DNF. I haven't read in a few days, couple days, whatever. It doesn't matter. I've definitely not been reading the City of Brass. I don't want to read the City of Brass. I don't want to read it. I also don't want to just DNF it, because what if it's a favorite? Which is why I never read these things, which is why it has made its way into this video, But there needs to be more dying in the do or die. There really, really does. However, is this the correct choice? To implement that? I don't think so. I want to continue the book. I don't want to take it off my TBR, but I don't want to read it either. I want to have read it. Alternatively, I want to know that I end up loving it, in which case, great, let's go on that ride. But I don't want to, I don't want to read it. Anyways, I have filmed and edited 3 videos, and I need to save and upload all of them. So, and they're pretty quick, so honestly won't take forever. While that is happening, I must start reading. I must read The City of Brass, and then as soon as all of those are done, I am moving on with my life to cleaning, because I'm going to have 2 bonus kids today, and my in-laws are coming today, so I'm going to be cleaning for the foreseeable future, but I want my phone while I do it, and so we're going to read while my phone is saving and uploading. I never want to start reading projects like this, but I want to have read the books, and that is my problem. So, you know, I gotta clean out the wazoo, basically, but first, we're gonna try and make some progress on the City of Brass. Honestly, you know, very, very difficult over here. Real problems. All right, I absolutely love the design of this sweatshirt. However, the neckline is quite high, and so I never wear it because that one little part of discomfort discomforts me. I don't like it. So I have watched exactly 1 video, so now I'm an expert, and I'm going to cut a wider neckline. And this is gonna go great. I just know it. I just know that this is exactly what I want to do with my life, because I barely wear this, and it's because of the neckline, and I've thought about getting rid of it, and I'm always like, no, but I really like that it says romance reader. I like that it has flowers on it. Like, I really like the design a lot. I just don't like the neckline. That's it. So here we are. You can be with me for my triumph or my failure, whichever one it happens to be. I did watch how to do it for off the shoulder. See how small that is? Look at that neck. You can't see. It's black on black on black. Look at how tiny that is. Anyways, there we go. I'm sure it will be stunning. Perhaps I will insert a picture of me wearing it, but chances are good not. Some of you are haters, but not me. Make some breakfast? All right, so here's the thing. I'm DNFing this book at 31%. Thanks to having the physical copy, I can tell you that's 178 pages in. 178 pages. All right, so we have our con artist, who is a mix of Jinn and human, however, specifically from a sect of Jinn that are very anti-mixing with humans. She shouldn't exist. She's gonna have a lot of power, yada, yada, yada. She's a healer, right? And she's taken by this Jinn. I'm just using Jinn for those of us who didn't read the book, okay? Rescued by this Jinn that she accidentally calls, and he is trying to get her to the city of Jinn, even though he had a bloody war with them 1400 years ago, yada yada yada. And then we also have the perspective of the naive, very religious, very idealistic teenage prince in the magical Jinn city, right? And the mixed people there between human and Jinn don't really have rights. Things are really cracking down, right? We had a friend of his get tortured and killed because he was leading the rebellion. Okay. I don't care. I don't want to read this book. I read several reviews. It appears that the last 200 pages or so are good. But I don't want to read another 150 pages to get to the good part. Not to mention the fact that I think this book ends a little bit on like a tragic cliffhanger type of situation. No. Also, I simply cannot abide characters. I absolutely just despise people who think that violence is okay to maintain the status quo. State-sanctioned violence is okay. It's okay to use violence to continue to oppress people and to keep them in their place, but it's never okay to use violence to resist that. I have always just been like, these things don't add up. What is wrong with you all? I literally don't understand how you think that an oppressed people should never use violence to try and overthrow their oppressors or to get rights. I simply don't understand it. And it is one of my deepest held beliefs and annoyances that oppressed people are allowed to use violence to overthrow their oppressors and to gain equality. I don't even think that should be a controversial opinion at all whatsoever, and yet somehow it is. Anyways, yeah, I don't want to read it. I read 179 pages. If I still don't want to read it, look, I gave it the old college try. I really did, didn't I? Because I had pretty high expectations and I was hoping to love it, but I don't. And I don't have to love all political fantasy just because I love political fantasy.
All right, reading journal update. So far we have a DNF and a 4-star for both of these vlogs. And then I also wanted to show you, did I already show you this? Yes. And then I did the second quarter and the April spreads really early. So there you go. And just in case I didn't show you the first quarter spread, but I think I did.
So that means that we are ending the vlog here and I can be freed from this prison. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry if that was a disappointing episode for you, but I don't care. I don't care because I'm reading for me. I'm not reading for you, and I didn't like them all that much, and I'm ready to be done. So, you know, you can tell me if you think I should continue, but I won't listen to you. I will not be. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.